Hey guys, welcome back to AFK Journey. In today's video, we got a bit of a different video. We are going through some of the issues that have been happening in the community. I've had a lot of people getting angry at me for not addressing it within the first minute of it happening. I like to sit back, give it a day, talk to people that I know and respect, as well as looking at all the posts and stuff like that, and then give you guys my thoughts. I also provide feedback in the background to the community managers and stuff like that to let them know what's going on. But I wanted to go through some of the stuff because there is a lot of complaints happening within the community, and I want to go through my personal opinions on it and just bring some awareness to it so that everyone does feel heard as well. So first of all, I'm going to go to a Reddit post that I think just summarizes it, and I think that's the best way for me to go over my thoughts around each one of them. So this one, it goes through the main things. And if you guys do have any other concerns, let me know in the comments. Always be constructive about it as well. I do find that when you get these things, people get into like a rage spiral and then it just becomes complete toxicity. So no more summons from medium-sized chests, half the gems from chests, tower rewards are a complete joke, no more gem/summons from AFK stages, random nerf to true damage, Merrily and Corrin, nerfs to noble path, technically a nerf to battle drill. So those are the main ones we're going to go through, and I want to talk about my thoughts around them. So first of all, the one with no more summons in medium-sized chests. I think this is one of those ones where it's just like one of the, I don't think this was the first thing people were complaining about. I feel like it was one of the ones that got piled on top of everything else because I'd have to run a complete fresh account, but I'm pretty sure there was only, I want to say about 10 of those medium-sized chests in the starting areas that actually gave you the summon ticket. I don't even know if once we got to like golden 5 or 4 there was any. I know by the time we got to Dark Forest there wasn't any. So yes, that is a valid one in that yes, we did have some, but don't think that like every gold chest along the entire map had those, because it definitely didn't. But once again, I can't verify exactly which ones had it. So that one for me is, I understand why people complain about that because it's an added thing, but I'll talk about more on that when we look at the next one, which is the idea of half the gems from chests. So this is one, when people ask me, I'm like, I kind of need a minute to just think about this and work it out, because when I think about it, with what we have, so half the gems from the chests, I try and think about it from, if we're comparing it to other gacha games, because I feel like that's what you've got a baseline to compare to. And when I think about other games, I'm going to use Honkai Star Rail. It's another game that I play, just as a comparison, because a lot of people know those types of games. When you have launch patch, you've got a ton of extra story, and you've got a lot of extra rewards in those launch patches. Then once you get to the first patch after launch, you're normally only getting a tiny little bit, so you're not getting all of that stuff. So to me, if these patches are then like, are we expecting each patch to be the same size as launch? And that's what I'm not too sure. And that's why I'm having trouble weighing up my thoughts on this one, because the other consideration that I do have, which is a big impact on it, is that the launch patch, like the zones that we have here, took us about, it took me 34 days to complete as free to play. The season lasts for 4 months. Does that mean we're going to have like 34 days of play and then nothing for 3 months? Or are they going to keep expanding it? And the problem is I can't make a direct assessment on this point here about half the gems from chests and also no more gems or summons from AFK stages, because I don't know how long the other sources of income that we have are going to last. So I do think these are a definite valid complaint. And I'm not saying, and I'm definitely not saying they're invalid. I'm just saying I don't know, because I don't know what's coming over the next 4 months. And that is my main problem with trying to have a definitive statement on these. Like if they said, no, we're going to keep expanding, you're going to keep getting more chests with epic summon tickets like throughout the entire 4 months, and you're going to keep getting more income like that, then I'd say it's not too much of an issue. But if it's the case where we finish the entire thing in like that 30 to 40 days, and then we've got 3 months of nothing basically, then it would be a massive issue. So that's where I'm trying to weigh up. Once again, I find with a lot of other games, you don't get launch patch rewards, because I think everyone would agree that the game was fairly generous during those first 30 to 40 days. I think it was incredibly generous. But now this capping of it heavily depends on how long the current income from the season lasts, being the explorations, those epic chests, because we are getting like 4 epic summons per little zone in there, and if they keep expanding that across the 4 months, then I think that's enough compensation. But if they don't, then I don't. So that is my, once again, I can't have a direct answer on that because we don't know enough about what's happening over the next 4 months of this season, essentially. The next one we go to is tower rewards are a complete joke. This one, honestly, for me, is the biggest one. When we look at the tower rewards, the lack of exclusive equipment income that we get from the tower and the lack of acorns, I think are two big things that really need to be balanced. I would love to see those increased because when you look at the base game, you already felt really tight on those things, but now you feel even more tight, and it's more the blue ones, because while we're talking about the negatives, I do want to touch on a positive as well, which is the fact that if we go over into the Dream Realm, which I don't have on my account, I don't have the other Dream Realm open yet. But we've now got 2 reward systems from the Dream Realm, which now for the gold upgrades, I always forget the names of these damn things, but for the, whatchamacallums? These ones, the temporal essence, we now get like extra of those through the extra ranking system in the Dream Realm. However, the title essence is the big one, because now we've really lost our income source of title essence, and they're only giving us like 2 on the stages, which is a massive decrease. And also the acorn income has gone down a ton from that. So that's honestly the biggest one for me that I would love to see a change to. Would be no more dude, I didn't even know what I clicked there. Would be the rewards from the tower. I would love to see those increased. However, we do have the Juror's Trial, and my only thought that's like a redeeming idea for this one is if the Jurors, whatever the new mode is that unlocks in probably a couple of days, if that one compensates for it, then I'm okay. But I definitely think tower is the biggest issue for me, because those are core fundamental resources you need to upgrade your account. Even if you're free to play and you're not getting all the heroes, you still need those to upgrade your characters. So I do think that one is like my biggest one that I would love to see a change to. Random nerf to true damage. So this one is a very interesting one, and I have thoughts on this one. So the nerf to Marilee and Corrin. So wait, let me just jump into a character so you guys have got something on the screen to look at, because otherwise we're looking at absolutely nothing. All right, there we go. We got Marilee on screen. So first of all, I see why they did this. True damage was crazy, but this is a fix that I believe should have happened during, like, from before global launch, because we knew about this stuff in the PTR. The biggest letdown on this one is that they do it just as free-to-play players are getting these characters to Mythic Plus and have put all their shop resources into them. I think a fair thing to do would be to have like a swap scroll, or if the game calculates how many of their copies you bought from the store, if it could refund those somehow. I think that'd be huge, because I think I'll make a video talking about who I think is worth going for more now. I feel like Coco would have been a better option to get to Mythic Plus before these characters. Possibly. I'll have to do some more testing, but I think that would be a fair compensation. The other thing with Marilee is she's gone from best damage to second best damage. Her and Odie have essentially flipped. But the problem for me with Marilee is the reason, and I've said this in videos in the past, is the reason I think she was so safe to build, even though she was only a raw damage dealer with only really having usage in bosses, is that because her damage was so high, she was a few power creeps away from becoming obsolete. Being that if they made another bossing unit that was just straight up better than Marilee on bossing damage, that's cool, because Marilee would then be second best damage and she would be safe. If they made another power creep, then some teams where you want, especially when she gets to endless mode and you're bringing like 3 DPS, she still has that position. So she had longevity to her usage before she could be power crept out. Whereas now she does feel like she is one power crept unit away from being almost obsolete. And that is the issue with that. So once again, maybe they overtuned the adjustment as well, and maybe they were intending her to still be good. I don't know, but like, she is still, in my opinion, the second best damage dealer for bosses. But that is my problem. It's the two things. One, they did it just as free-to-play were probably getting her to Mythic Plus. Like, I only got mine to Mythic Plus maybe a week ago or something like that. And then the other thing is, once again, that she is now closer to being power crept and almost obsolete, and that is the biggest issue for me. So I don't know how they fix that. It's a bit of an interesting one. Like I said, I know why they did it, because it was crazy how strong true damage was. but it's just, it's a hard one to implement this stage of the, like, it's the worst timing of that implementation. So yeah, that's my thoughts around that one. It's definitely not a good look. And even though Merrily is still good, it probably would have changed my order of investment on characters, which does have an impact. So that is that one. The next one we're going to go to is nerfs to the Noble Path. So I'm going to bring this up here. Let's open this one. So the Noble Path one is interesting to me. I think the big thing is, and I'm not a spender, so I'm just gauging this off of looking at it. But the big thing to me is, okay, so we get, what do we got? So I think losing it on the 1200 stones is kind of a big one. Okay, I'm trying to do one-for-one comparisons. 30 summons versus a chest. That's kind of like almost, it's 10 short. So it's 3/4 of a guarantee to a character, but you could get more if you get lucky. So I feel like the chest to the 30 is kind of a fair trade, but you know, it depends what's in the chest, whether you wanted that more than you want a new character. But you know, I feel like that's a fairly fair trade. Let me know if that's a bad take. The next one is 20 epic letters to 30 normals. I don't think that's a fair trade. Because 30 is half a pity, whereas 20 of these is 2/3 of a pity. So I don't think that's a fair trade. I think that's definitely skewed to the previous one being better. Once again, you're losing a ton of A-level characters, which I think that does hurt as well. I think that was a very important thing from there. Then the rest, the dust and experience, you're getting more resources here to go ahead and level up the season, which, I mean, I guess that's pretty well comparable one-to-one, but then you're losing out on a massive amount of acorns. So I get this one. I do think that one is a little bit weaker on this end, but I think the other thing is I don't know if they're going to refresh this one either. I'm not too sure how that's going to work as well, and whether it will come back. But yeah, that's sort of the look at that one. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys like. Like, I'd love to, if someone, I'm not smart enough, if someone would calculate like the quote-unquote dollar value of all these things inside these, and then show the dollar value difference based on raw shop purchases. That would be an interesting comparison to look at. But at the moment, yes, I think this one is a little bit better than this one, but not by like a country mile. So that is my look at that one. The next thing, technically a nerf to battle drill rewards, as it's now district based rather than server based, meaning mid-level guilds are going to see significantly less rewards. I agree with this one. This one I didn't like it, and when I read the patch notes, I didn't like it when I saw it, because the problem with making guilds, like, because before the game launched, I was the biggest advocate for make cross-server guilds. I think it would have been amazing. I wanted cross-server guilds, but once you've created server-based guilds, then meshing that and having those server-based guilds compete with other servers' guilds, it's kind of demoralizing to guilds who used to be rank 1, now they're rank 15, 20. You know what I mean? You can't make people feel that hit. Now, what they did with Dream Realm was fantastic. I think the Dream Realm change was great, because it was, you get your server rewards, now you get additional rewards. And I feel like that sort of system just could have been implemented with battle drills as well, because it gives you that extra layer of competition. And if you're sitting rank 1 on your server by far, it gives you another thing to compete and want to try against it, because you've got more guilds, more better guilds to compete against. But don't take away that income that players had from their server-based guild rewards, but give them another challenge on top with even some like minutely, like, it doesn't have to be crazy rewards, but just some, you know, little additional rewards, kind of like what they did in Dream Realm. Now you get like tiny bit better rewards in Dream Realm from the like tiny little extra rewards in Dream Realm, but you still get your base rewards. And I feel like that's the way battle drills could have been implemented to be a bit better. But that pretty much covers everything that there is in those ones. Like I said, this one, I mean, I feel like this one's the one with the least legs, because I feel like that's a bit of a stretch, because I feel like 90% of the medium chests in the world, 90 to 95% probably, didn't have those summons. This one and this one, it depends on what what we keep getting throughout the game when you compare it to other games, especially where you're not getting your launch rewards every patch. But if it's over 4 months, then you can't, and we only get 1 month worth of good rewards and then 3 months of nothing, then you do want that 1 month to be equal to your launch rewards. So I get that. Once again, I've just got to wait and see because I don't have the knowledge of what's going to happen. Tower rewards, I definitely think need to fix. I would love to see like just those fundamental resources, acorns, and also the exclusive equipment upgrades. I would love to see them get buffed. Nerf the Merrily and Corrin. Once again, this one, it just came at that horrible time. I wish this change was implemented before global launch. I think some sort of compensation on refunding or a character swap scroll or something like that would be decent compensation for that. I think that would make people sort of pretty cool with it, be able to swap your exclusive equipment investment and your levels if you want to. I mean, at the end of the day, I would probably still end up leveling my Merrily. It would just be like after a Coco or something, but still just to have that option for people so it doesn't feel like we're nerfing something and you've just got to deal with it. I think that would be great. Noble Path, yeah, I'd love to see dollar value. I think it's like definitely a bit of a nerf, but I don't know how much based on dollar value of stuff, but I'll have to wait and see if someone calculates that. And then the Battle Drill one, I think that's an easy fix. You just have the standard server-based rewards, and then you also have the region-based rewards, or whatever they call that. But that is my thoughts around everything, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Once again, don't be toxic. Put good feedback in the community, in the comments. Dude, I can't even speak now. And I'll be sure to pass on everything that I see. Like I said, if you have any other issues that you've seen in the game, let me know. Also, if you have anything that you think has been implemented well and would be like a good, implementation for something else, kind of like the way Dream Realm was implemented well, and that could just be implemented into battle drills to help fix it. Let me know any of those suggestions. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.